a $450,000 watch, a $700 million jet, and a $1.4 billion luxury palace. These are the stupidly expensive things Vladimir Putin owns. First up, we have his collection of Italian suits, courtesy of his favorite brands, Ketone and Brioni, that have a starting price tag of $10,000. No wonder people call him Man in Black. But because of Russia's cold weather, sometimes you don't get to see his suit because it's covered by his $10,000 Loro Piana jacket. His jacket stole the show as he gave a speech about stopping genocide and fighting for universal values wearing that gorgeous number. The internet was not happy. Other than his fancy clothes, his watch collection is his next expensive thing on him. I mean, why wouldn't it be? He is a world leader after all. That's why he's got a $1 million watch collection. Okay, maybe it's a bit ironic, considering that officially he makes $140,000 annually. First up, we have the gorgeous limited edition Blancpain watch, which costs $11,000. Despite being his favorite collection, it is reported that he actually gave this watch to a factory worker in 2009. Lucky guy, huh? Then, he gave another Blancpain watch to a Siberian boy he met on vacation. Oh, and there's also a video of him tossing a Blancpain watch into wet cement at a construction site in 2010. Sometimes, when he chooses to go blue, he can rock this rock, the Chronometer Blue from FP Journe, which costs around $100,000. That's, like, so close to his annual salary. Of his entire watch collection, the most unbelievably insane watch that he owns is the Along & Son Tourbograph, which costs $470,000. That's like 3 to 4 times more than his declared annual income. Despite having the most luxurious timepieces on his wrist, known as Putin to be late all the time. He showed up an hour late to his meeting with Pope Francis in the Vatican. Even his former wife, Lyudmila Putina, complained that Putin was an hour late for his first dates. That's some Chad behavior. Anyway, after he's suited and strapped, he gets to drive any one car from his undisclosed car collection. So let's start with the cheapest car here, the Lada Vesta sedan, worth $11,000, the same price as his Blancpain watches. This green machine is $11,000, which honestly doesn't have anything special about it. It kind of gives him a humble vibe, but that humbleness fades as we move up his car collection. Of course, if you happen to catch Putin in the streets, he's not going to be in a Lada. He'll be in either his $46,000 Mercedes ML500 or his $160,000 specially made Gazelle limousine or his $1.2 million Urus Senat limousine. It's also nice to see that Putin's a big supporter of Russian automakers, unlike the rest of the world. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Although he's rumored to own over 700 high-end cars, these are the only publicly known cars in Putin's collection. I was also going to add the tractor he got as a gift to this list, but obviously he's not going to scout the streets in that, right? Speaking of gifts, one of the most infamous gifts Putin got was a Super Bowl ring by Robert Kraft, which was worth $25,000. Now, if you're wondering how someone can gift something so personal and precious to Putin, the answer is he didn't. In 2013, Robert Kraft met President Putin, and according to him, quote, "I took out the ring and showed it to Putin, and he put it on, and he goes, 'I can kill someone with this ring.' Then he added that, now quoting again, 'I put my hand out, and he put it in his pocket, and 3 KGB guys got around him and walked out.'" That's right, the rich, Along & Son watch-wearing president technically stole his Super Bowl ring. Poor guy. Moving on, the former KGB agent still has the seas and skies to cover. This is why President Putin owns 6 yachts. At least that's what the report tells us. First up, we have his $507 million super yacht named the Scheherazade. It looks white and big on the outside, but only those on board the SS expensive yacht here know that everything is gold. The self-leveling pool table, the loo roll holder, and even a tiled dance floor that lowers down to turn into a pool. And in case that wasn't enough for good old Putin, he was gifted a $35 million yacht by oligarch Roman Abramovich, who's also the owner of Chelsea Football Club. Friendship goals, right? Earlier this year, he was spotted off the coast of Estonia in a 267-foot super yacht called Graceful, which is $119 million. It used to be called Grateful, but now it's called Kosatka, which means killer whale. He also has the 187-foot Olympia, which costs $22 million, a 177-foot Cheka, which costs $18 million, and a 151-foot Shellis, which costs $17 million. We still don't know the price of his 105-foot Nega, but altogether, Putin's fleet of yachts is worth at least $680 million. And even if the US seizes these yachts, he's just gonna buy more. And just when you think his love for the sea is over, Putin also owns this mini-sub, which kind of looks like a prop from a James Bond movie. Of course, rolling up to a shipwreck in a huge $1 million super yacht would just be bad PR. So instead, he takes this mini-sub just off the coast of the Crimea Peninsula to see the wreckage. He was supposed to be on this aquatic journey with his Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, but as you can see, he chose to stay on dry land. Oh, and look, there's the $11,000 Blancpain watch. Now, if you think that's luxurious, check out the Flying Kremlin, which, now that I say it out loud, sounds like a Russian superhero name. The Flying Kremlin is his private jet, which costs $716 million. Now, other than the usual fancy jet amenities, he's got a king-size bed and a gym, in case he wants to rush in a quick workout before his next meeting. Oh, and he's got a golden toilet. Now that you've seen what he's got and what he wears, it's time to peek into his most expensive homes. Now, being elected president means moving into the big house, which is why back in the day, Russia had their own version of the White House. It was called the Konstantinovsky Palace. After Putin moved in, he renovated and restored the old place with glitz and glamour. Now, this presidential residence hosts G8 summits and is open to tourists. It's kind of like his summer vacation home. But obviously, this is a presidential home, not Putin's home, which is why he's got a secret property portfolio. One of his most recent homes is located in between the forests of Moscow and is rumored to cost $380 million. By stalking this place from Google Earth, we can see multiple helicopter landing pads, stables, a football field, and a pond. Some of his secret, but not too secret properties include Novo Ogaryevo, Moscow Kremlin, a remote retreat in Siberia, a holiday home in Vyborg, and a lake house in St. Petersburg. Not many know about this lake house because it was rebuilt after the unfortunate fire in 1996. In an interview about his autobiography, Mr. Putin recalled the incident and shared that he, quote, ran out to the balcony, clambered over the railing, grabbing the sheets, and began to lower himself. And he did it all while he was, quote, stark naked from the banya, which is Russian sauna. Can you imagine? A naked Putin video would be a good viral video. Out of his entire property portfolio, the one that tops it all is his Black Sea mansion, also called Putin's Palace. It costs, brace yourself, $1.3 billion. To give you a little perspective on its size, it's almost 39 times the size of Monaco. Moving inside this billion-dollar house, you will see gold, gold, and more gold. This flashy dining room has enough space to host every oligarch in Russia, which is a lot. And each dining room chair retails for $10,300. As you go inside his room, you'll find a bed that retails for $16,400, while the dresser here retails for $19,700. Then we have the gilded Chase Lounge, upholstered in purple velvet, which costs $10,600. According to NDTV, this is $500,000 worth of dining room furniture, a $54,000 bar table, fancy $850 Italian toilet brushes, and 1,250 toilet paper holders for that golden ass. Now, even though you don't want to think about it, I can tell you have that $140,000 annual income number in your head, right? Well, the truth is, this house is actually named the largest bribe in history. There's a documentary called A Palace for Putin, in which they talk about how its construction was financed through corruption and a network of close associates. It also reveals that while Putin may be the one chilling in this big estate, its rightful owner is the billionaire Russian state construction watchdog, Mr. Arkady Rotenberg, who's also a close personal friend of Putin since the early days. That documentary got more than 100 million views, one of whom was Vladimir Putin himself. And he called the palace video, quote, boring. The documentary maker Alexei Navalny, who was Putin's arch critic, was arrested and put in jail for this feature, and thousands of civilians came out of their houses to stage the biggest protest in Russia. You can see why billionaire Elon Musk claimed that Putin is significantly richer than him in an interview with Business Insider. But billionaires like Elon Musk are no different from Putin. They're also out there buying crazy expensive stuff, like Elon Musk and his $1 million submarine car, Bill Gates and his $25 million island, and Jeff Bezos and his $42 million clock. If you want to see how billionaires spend their billions, well, be sure to check out our next video. Thanks for watching.